Shellheads, the time is finally come. The wait is over. TMNT #1 by Jason Aaron and crew has hit the shelves, and it is time to talk about it. This book picks up a couple months after the end of Armageddon War and after the events of 150. And for those that are picking up with this issue, 150 was this capstone of unbroken continuity, every single month storytelling that spanned over the course of more than a decade. And it fits into what has become a natural life cycle for Turtles storytelling, where everything gets turned up to 11. You have interdimensional stuff going on. You have mutant stuff going on. You have cities in peril or giant rivalries coming to a head. Everything hits this boiling point, and then the steam blows off, and the next writer a lot of times comes in and will reset the status quo and bring it back to grounded, bring it back to street level, in a way bringing it back to where the Turtles initially began. So the thing about how Jason Aaron is setting up this new chapter for the Turtles, we're going to be getting a series of individual stories being told. It picks up a couple months after where we last left off, and all of the Turtles went their own way. It's actually really interesting to me that we have two different versions of the Turtles right now that are telling stories that are centered around the Turtles being apart and something bringing them back together, and them experiencing the value of being together. But we are going to get stories that are centered around each turtle, what they've been up to, and I'm sure as time goes on, what happened in those couple of months. So this issue opens up with Raph in San Quentin State Prison. He's constantly being picked on for being a mutated turtle. He talks about how quiet it is at nighttime. We hope everybody's okay. He talks about how quiet it is at nighttime, except not for him. He's able to use his Shadow Warrior senses to hear everything that's going on throughout the prison. He hears people crying, begging. He even hears a group of inmates carving their tunnel to escape. Raph gets out of his cell and meets the inmates in their tunnel and stops them in their tracks. He beats them to a pulp until every one of them is knocked out. By the time the guards noticed the inmates had escaped, Raph is already back in his cell. The next day, the warden talks to Raph outside the courtyard. He talks about how this prison has been riddled with corruption and bloodshed. He says that Raph is there to rein in from the inside. He then says, when you've done that to my satisfaction, I'll see if I can pull enough strings to make those troubles of yours disappear. Before he leaves, he tells Raph that there's a group of new prisoners arriving today that have already caused loads of trouble. The warden instructs Raph to keep an eye on them. That night, Raph is in his cell and he spots a guard in the hall that's been murdered. He climbs onto the roof to try and find the perpetrator and sees a group of Foot Clan members. He begins to fight each one of them, but it's confused because now that the Foot Clan is owned and controlled by Karai, Shredder's granddaughter, for those of you that don't know, they are supposed to be more tamed and largely be on the same side. During the fight, he realizes that they aren't there to kill him, but the warden instead. By the time he makes it to the warden's office, it's too late. He's been stabbed to death by a pair of sai. A group of prison guards walk in with guns pointed at Raph, and at that moment, the Foot Clan's plan was complete. They had framed him for the murder of the warden and turned him into an actual inmate. Later, Raph escapes his cell and leaves the prison in search of his brothers, who he hasn't seen in months since they all went their own ways. Back in New York City, Carmichael, a man running to be the next district attorney of New York, is being detained by a couple of cops. They walk him down a bridge to meet with Hale, another man running for district attorney. Hale tells Carmichael that, it's a shame to get caught with drugs the night before the election. Tell Karai I just got a bump in the polls. Tell her tomorrow's election is as good as mine. You tell the Foot Clan New York City is ours. And that's it. That's all. That is a wrap. Next, we are going to get Night Watcher #1. Historically, that has been Raph's vigilante identity. We don't know yet how it's all going to play out in Jason Aaron's new chapter for the Turtles, but this is a wonderful place to jump into comics and be able to get brand new stories with the Turtles. But until then, go ahead, tick that bell, hit subscribe so that way you do not miss a video. We are going to be covering this as it comes out. Let me know what else you want me to cover. And if you are enjoying this new take on the Turtles, until next time, Cowabunga Shellheads.